tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome to another Brooklyn Nine-Nine after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. We are on season 2, episode 2, called Chocolate Milk. I'm your host, JJ Jurgens, and I'm joined here tonight by
Kanika Lal, ready to have some fun.
And Jacque Borowski.
Hi, thanks. We have a new panel for you guys tonight, and you're going to be on the panel for the rest of the season.
Yes, continuing.
Hopefully we'll see more of you too.
I'm happy to sub
can.
whenever I can.
Yes.
I'm happy to.
Awesome. All right, let's dive right into this one. Another awesome episode. Let's start out by talking about Boyle and Diaz, and well, first Boyle having to go to his ex-wife's engagement party.
I think what's interesting to me about the show is that the show has a super diverse cast, as we know, and they've cast people based on their abilities versus just casting them for like, oh, we have to have like this many white people, this many whatever. The thing that they're usually really good at is either addressing the race issues or blending them in seamlessly. This was one episode where I'm like, he's dressed like a Jamaican person and nobody makes any comment on how like racially insensitive that is. Like there is no comment made, and I know it's a comedy, but usually they're really good at like being on top of like making a comment like, gosh, Boyle, that's like insensitive.
Yeah, especially with the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
A little bit stuff too far, but.
So I was a little disappointed in the fact that it's hard to laugh at something when you feel like that you're making fun of a minority group instead of like commenting on I it's probably not that funny to them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a true point.
Yeah, I guess I guess that with the whole theme of the engagement party being, Jamaican me, marry you, and so, it was like
He was probably just trying to embrace the theme and really fit in.
Yeah.
I think the funny thing is, why was he going to his ex-wife's engagement party? Get over her already, Boyle. Come on.
Well, and I think in her basement, so he could not go.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Well, and I think that's probably what also led for him going so over the top and going full out with the dreads and everything is because he really wanted to, kind of not show her up, but like act like it, it didn't bother him. He's good. He's there to party.
Exactly.
I feel like though Boyle celebrates like everything. So I feel like this is another thing for Boyle's like, oh, I can dress up and do what I do.
Yeah. Were you guys surprised that Diaz came through at the end and was there to support him?
I liked it. And she looked nice in her little Jamaican getup. I thought that was cute. I like their teamwork. So
I like that they're playing this like Gina Diaz thing now that he got rid of the woman he was engaged to from last season. I feel like they want him to have some sort of. He's more fun when he's trying to romance someone. That's his personality. So I feel like they're really playing up this. Well, is he going with Diaz or is he going with Gina? And you can tell that Gina's giving some resistance, but we know she just slept with him again. So it's like
he's a lady killer in the office these days.
He is. Yeah, I love it too. I think it's a really fun dynamic to have both of them kind of involved with that storyline. And I liked how when he wants to meet her in the bathroom and we see his giant face. It was hilarious.
That was the best.
That
was the best.
Yeah. I know this is kind of predictions, but who do you guys think?
I know, that's tough. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Is there one you would like to see him with more than the other?
I would like to see Diaz.
Definitely Diaz. Yeah. Definitely. It's been there since the beginning. Gina kind of is just like maybe a distraction. I feel like maybe it's a good, like a threat to Diaz, you know? Making them jealous if Gina and Boyle were to get together. So it could be a jealousy and kind of keep
rivalry. I agree. Kind of keep her on her toes a little bit.
Yeah, but who knows?
I feel like she's always had a soft spot for him, whereas Gina, it's like she's not as sensitive to him. Yeah. So I feel for Boyle. I do. Yeah. I want him to have the person who's right for him.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah. Me too. All right. Well, another big storyline in this one was Terry getting a vasectomy.
I love that. I love that Jake thinks a vasectomy is cutting off your penis, and that no one corrects him, and he just keeps talking about it the whole episode.
I love the one-liners in the beginning.
I
What
know.
were some of them?
We wrote
permanent record.
the scrotal recall.
Right.
I had some more. I'm trying to read my writing too.
They were just like at it.
Yeah, that's
Too funny.
Yeah, that's when we want to like go back and rewatch
Exactly.
tonight because they were just spitting them out so quickly that it was just hilarious. But yeah. So that's one of the things I really enjoy about this show is just the quick little one-liners and just the quick-witted humor with things like that they just build on top of each other. I thought that was hilarious.
They're really good comedy writers. It's like they know all the beats, and they like. I feel like watching an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I always laugh throughout the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's one of those shows where it doesn't feel gimmicky either.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Go ahead. Well, and then what I like too is I think they do a great job of layering the storylines because we had a bunch of different storylines going on, and even within this vasectomy storyline, we also saw them, going through their friendship dynamic, and we have the surgery going on, and then we also have they're also still trying to solve a case at the same time. So I think they do a good job of balancing the case with the humor and the the other personal things going on.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a limit to kind of how much they cross. Because obviously there are certain scenes and certain crimes that you can't be so funny about and not take seriously. And especially Andy Samberg. Like, he does a great job, like his character, of being still childish, still immature, and making those pranks, but he can also be a serious cop. So like you said, it's a great balance for a show. So.
Yeah. So we get to see. Let's go through them a little bit. He goes with him. They decide they're going to solve this case first, and he has this new case where the guy works at a chocolate milk store, co-owner, and has gotten stabbed. And he's thinking that.
I feel like the cases though are even funny. Like, there's a lot of cases that I felt throughout the first season too that I was like, this is so great because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and then that would make them then being chocolate and milk as their characters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's thinking the whole time that this is chocolate milk, which he has loved so much, and we find out that it's not. It's called dark chocolate. And we had you ever heard of it?
Steve, can you let us know? Steve knew what that was.
Yeah.
They said teeth to mouth dark cow's milk. So what was up with that?
I just thought it sounded familiar, like it was something. Let me look real quick here.
Okay, because we were trying to figure
gross.
out if this was a real thing or not, and it sounded and looked gross. Like
really gross.
I know that there's like if you have like pure dark chocolate, that it doesn't taste good. It's like
bitter.
It's bitter.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually a thing. It sounded familiar, but I don't think it's a thing. There's black milk clothing, but it doesn't look like there's actually something called dark milk.
So maybe it's just they're making fun of like some of the like weird trends that are going on in stores.
It's kind of it's like a hipster
hippie,
non-GMO thing.
That makes sense.
And, it's the bitter chocolate brings out all the sourness in the milk.
Yeah. They convinced us it sounded real.
and that the whole like you were saying that it's like one's chocolate and one's milk, and Jake makes this comment to Terry that he's like, I'm chocolate, you're chocolate, I'm milk, and then he's like, and he like changes it, and I'm like, see, this is what I wish would have happened with the Boyle Jamaican thing. It's like they realize they're making this joke, and then they comment on making this joke.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So they go down and they go to the store and they start to interview the guy, and then they also go and interrogate the partner. Partner lies to them and says that that he was basically a Pilates pervert. So anyway, did you guys know that he was probably lying all the way since we knew already he was a Pilates pervert?
I don't know. Like I didn't think either way because for me, and for me the point of this was seeing Terry and Jake come together more so than like actually figuring out the crime. Totally. So I just didn't care. I guess.
Yeah, so let's go into their friendship. I felt a little sorry for Jake when he was saying they're just work friends, not friends. So,
But
yeah,
he tried.
but-
He was persistent,
yeah.
and he got him to be friends.
But you know,
So-
there are people, and like that's a real life thing where it's like people take their work friends and they try to make them into real friends, and it hurts when someone says that. So I feel like an audience member could really relate to that.
Yeah, and especially when, I mean, something that as personal as what he was going through, you know,
Right.
for him taking him to the surgery and being there, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we gets there and he can't go through the surgery because he's such a big guy that they don't have enough anesthesia to actually put him under.
And he was
so-
drugged like crazy, saying things that you would never hear from him. He couldn't tell his twins apart. He thinks Captain Holt needs to smoke some more weed. Things like that.
I really enjoyed seeing Terry in this episode. I thought it was hilarious.
Saw
I mean,
different
he's always
sides to
funny.
him.
Yeah.
Like his comedy, his comic humor, which we all know from his other, of course, acting. But like, this time.
Yeah.
Terry Crews he's brilliant, and they give him a lot to do.
Yeah.
Like the last episode where he was doing like he was the baby, and then he was an old lady, and I like this episode too because I'm like, again, it's like him really getting to stretch outside of his own role.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I love that they're utilizing him so much in this season. Yeah, he's really fun to watch.
And I like that they built him up to be sort of like the gentle giant, where you had that one episode where he's building the castle or whatever it was for his daughter.
Yeah.
And he was getting so frustrated about it, but it's like you see him as this big, like, scary dude, but he really has a good heart.
Softy.
Exactly, and on that, like, I liked him bringing Jake into bed with him. You know,
Yes,
twice.
just like cuddling with him
yeah.
to the point where he's crushing him.
Exactly. Yeah. The first one was really funny because he was on top of him, but then I love the second one even more because he just got those big arms wrapped around him. He's like, oh, not again. that was cute. Made him have to do the walk of shame then twice. He really didn't even get any action. So I hope. I love seeing those two together. So I really liked how this one dove into their kind of friendship.
On a side note, too, we kind of also see Amy and Captain Holt have a different kind of relationship. Like, she's always been a teacher's pet. But I see them kind of having, like, usually he just kind of, like, shrugs her off, like, whatever.
Yeah.
She's just, like, being too sucking up. But I think he appreciated, like, that part of it and towards the end, so.
Yeah, I think so, too. That was a very good point. Like, it was fun to see and utilizing her teacher pet qualities, like, for good in this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel like Captain Holt, like, needs her almost. It's like they need each other. Like, she needs his recognition, and I'm not sure he would do so well without having somebody who's like a protege. I feel like he really likes that as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Because he doesn't get the support as much from the others, or he gets more talk back and stuff
He
too.
just
So
gives her a
I
hard
think
time on purpose. He loves it, though.
Yeah.
She's on point all the time, so.
Yeah. So she really we can dive into talking about how she helped him out in this episode because we get to see Kira Sedgwick, who comes in to play. I'm going to slaughter this name. Hoyt's nemesis, Captain Wunsch. We decided.
I think Wunsch.
Wunsch.
We can say Madeline if that's easier. I think her name's Madeline, right? But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was excited when we talked about in the news and gossip last week how she was coming, and I was really excited to see what their dynamic was going to be like. What did you guys feel about it?
I loved it. Actually, going back to the news and gossip just a little bit, I think this was kind of like her first big role since she's been since, I think, The Closer in 2012. So they were kind of brought together. And she made some sort of comment like, the biggest part about joining this show was being a guest star. She wasn't really used to that, and she wasn't used to the whole comic role. So I loved it. I loved them together. I think they did a great job. Because, what's his real name? Braugher. Andre Braugher has this really... It's like deadpan, they call it. Like, you know, so serious comedy. And just bringing them together, both of that was a good match, I thought.
What I'd like to see, though, is because Andre Braugher is so deadpan, I love it how they used to pair him off of Jake all the time because Jake is, like, all over the place, and he was using his deadpan. Like that one episode where Jake was climbing through, like, the air vents or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that because he's so serious all the time. It felt like something was missing when he's around more serious people. I want to see him playing against someone who's a little bit more of a trickster.
That's true.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, they're great. I did like though their banter and how I liked going back and getting a little flashback nugget and having look. I love when they do things like that and you get a glimpse back. So
the flashbacks with Captain Holt are always my favorite because he was like
The way he looks first.
Yeah. He was like gay in a time where it was like you could be super fashionable,
Right.
and so it's so funny to see like these old school like fashions really coming out in full force, and him wearing it with a completely straight face.
Yeah.
You're like, you have the most ridiculous outfit on, and you are not cracking a smile.
I think that's what was great in the scene. I mean, I know Steven said it right away when he answered the door, dressed the way he was. It was such like an indication of the stereotype, and then the fact that she is completely oblivious in there in her lingerie. You know, and I really liked seeing. That was a fun moment. I thought.
Yeah, my biggest laugh was when she just like drops her trench coat, and he's like, I'm gay.
Yeah, she's like, oh. Yeah, it was great.
It's like those awkward silences and that straight face that makes this, I think, such a comedy show. I love that part.
Yeah, and they threw kind of a twist when he thought this whole time that she was like had sabotaged him with the letter, and then we find out through Santiago that wasn't the case. You know, so
A effort. Good for her.
We still don't know the root of it, though, which is what was also interesting to me, because I feel like to keep their relationship alive, they're still going to have to keep this. Well, we don't actually know why they don't like each other, because they were going back and forth. Well, you did this, and then you did this. So I feel like that might play out more in the season.
yeah, and I was really wanting to, and I thought maybe it would be at the very end just because of his retirement and everything, but I wanted to know what the Derek Jeter thing was, you know? So I thought they were just going to keep teasing us, and then I was hopeful, like, at the end, towards the credits, we would actually get to see that, but...
Maybe next time. Maybe the next. Hopefully.
Maybe. Yeah.
I would love to hear that. That's like... there are some things that... There's this one show called oh my gosh, I can't even think right now. Just keep talking. I don't know what I was saying.
Wait, actually, no, going quickly back, I think this was really, maybe it's not interesting, but when you're talking about the crack-ups of Braugher, he actually said in an interview, because there was a lot of articles about him, and one, he said that he tries his best to keep like a straight face. So at season 1, he only cracked up like 3 times in like all the 22 episodes, and this season he's only done it twice. And they filmed like 8 episodes. So he's like trying hard on set not to actually just crack a smile, because he's like, it's just too funny.
To keep it
so I think
together.
it's interesting. Like on the show, he has to do that, and of course while you're acting. So
Yeah.
Just a side note. But anyways.
Yeah, I would love to. It would be so fun, I think, to watch them
Like
shoot
behind
this.
the scenes
Yes,
bloopers.
yeah.
We should get footage of that and show everyone on AfterBuzz
That-
TV.
We'll have to work on that.
it.
Yeah,
We'll work on it, guys.
That would be a lot of fun.
I know what I was going to say. There's this musical called
good.
I'm so sorry. This happens to me all the time.
It's okay.
Just need a little time.
Distraction, yeah.
There's this musical called Rock of Ages, and it's about like it's about a new musician and an aging musician, and the aging musician is supposed to be akin to Axl Rose, I think, was the comparison. And so he keeps referencing throughout the show, or as you're watching the show, an incident with a baby llama. And you finally find out through like bits and pieces what that incident is, but the whole time you're watching this, you're like, what could have been so bad that it was so offensive that he did with this baby llama? And that's how I feel the Derek Jeter thing is like, we're probably going to get like little drops and nuggets throughout the whole thing until we can finally piece it together. And they might not tell us outright, but we could figure it out from the surrounding circumstances.
Yeah. I feel like they have to. I mean, they got to get more. That was just such a thing to drop, and then, if they do leave it, I just think.
They're just teasing us.
Yeah.
It has to come sooner or later.
Jesus. I tell ya. So let's see. So she did end up giving them for the review, though. They got an average grade, so they passed, and Hoyt's going to get to stay there.
See, I don't understand how 2.7 is average, because that's like a D+. Or
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it a 5-point?
It was
scale of
5, so
five?
A, B, C, D, F. So it would
I
be-
guess just because of the middle of the road. I guess they were just like.
I think I missed that.
Hello.
I'm blanking. I don't
Yeah, I don't know.
I was getting all Santiago up in here, and I was like, excuse me, if this is a letter scale, that's a D+, which I don't think is passing.
What's a B+?
2.7, if it's a scale of 1 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag TV.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hashtag maybe in your school, maybe in Brooklyn, that's passing.
In the 9-9, that's how they go. Yeah, I don't know. I just took it as, I guess, about 5 point. They were in the middle of the road. Yeah, middle, average. Not. Who knows? Anyway, the important thing was they get to all stay together, and he gets to stay there, and they get to continue on.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else in this episode that you guys wanted that we missed?
I do like that he gives her the A. He gives her that little, like, you did a good job, because she needs that.
And I do like how she asked, too. Even her, that wasn't quite enough, and she had to know whether there was pluses in this grading scale.
And he was just like, take what you get.
Have you ever had her in one of your classes, like in college or high school, that type of girl, the overachiever? I mean, good for her, but sometimes it's like, relax.
Yeah, I work with one.
Right?
Yeah, and I know, and it's hilarious. I mean, sweet people, but it's fun.
I liked when Broyles, or was it Broyles is the...
Boyle,
yeah.
Boyle, yeah, when Boyle's like, come on, we can go as, like, friends or bang bros.
Yeah,
Bang Bros.
Yeah. Thanks
I
for
also
bringing that
like
one
how
up.
his office is like essentially that bathroom. Like he keeps pulling people into that bathroom.
Yeah, it's a good point.
His secret office.
I don't want to be pathetic because I live with them in their basement with Hercules.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Hercules.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
a
my
good
favorite.
I do like though that Diaz is getting him out of that.
Yeah, she's like, we're gonna get you out of that.
Because I feel like they've referenced that like way early on in season 1, and I just didn't remember it until this point.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Me too. Yeah, and that's what I do like, about their dynamic too. I know we touched on it a bit earlier, but I like that she is so no nonsense and just like take charge with him. I think he really needs that, And so I like to see her just be like, no, you're getting out of there, and
I like how she was so
like,
kind to him when he saved her and he got shot in the butt in that one episode. And she was actually really grateful to him.
Yeah.
Versus giving him a hard time.
Exactly. Kind of also going relationship-wise, like, what do you think of Amy and Jake?
Oh, I want them to get together,
right?
of
That's
course.
what I feel
like it's that same thing. It's the opposites attract.
Opposites attract.
Yeah.
God, there's so much work cest going on.
There is.
What's interesting to me, though, is with Andre Braugher's character, I thought Captain Holt, when we met his partner, that it was going to be another opposites attract, and you're like, the two of them are just, it was funny to see that the both of them are very like serious and unsmiling, and he's apparently Captain Holt is like the lighter one of the two of them, and you're like, okay. And I thought that was a really funny dynamic too, because they could have done something where they make the partner completely opposite of him, and they didn't.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, because you made a point, you were like, I like to see him more with Jake. That kind of comedy, but maybe they're trying to expand it, like him being with different kind of characters. So that's also a point.
Yeah, totally agree. It's good to see different sides of him. I did also like all the tiny head references.
He does tiny head though.
Actually, it's actually kind of big.
Yes.
So, like compared to Terry's like body,
Yeah.
he probably sees it really tiny. So I don't know. He was like stuffing carrots in his mouth at the end. Great gift, Terry.
I was like, do you know what a gift is? Like, yeah, they were good. Well, good dynamics. Once again, another very entertaining episode. It's always fun. That's it for the episode. If anybody has anything else, we'll go ahead and dive into some news and gossip. I just had, you had mentioned there was a bunch of articles, and I was just going to let you guys know that there are a bunch of great articles about Andre Braugher out there, especially in the last 2 days. He was also in the New York Times, and a really good article about kind of his training. He was a Juilliard trained actor, and how, before his father didn't want him to go into it. He said, we have musicians and singers, I think, in this family, and trying to get him to say like who has ever made it as a famous actor, and he listed people off right away. And so it's great to see that he really had this belief in himself and knew what he wanted to do and went for it, even when people tried to discourage it. Yes,
he should win an Emmy. I think he's so funny. He's probably one of the funniest characters on that show.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what you talked about, his deadpan stuff and how serious he is, because he is a seriously well-trained actor, and so I think that's what's so fun to watch in this role, too, is you have somebody trained like that, paired with all these amazing improvers and stuff, so he is really just this, anchor in there that's funny to just watch that, even he does so much in just his facial expressions and the looks that he gives to people, so it's so fun. So check those articles out there, are really great to read. Does anybody else have any other?
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
His interview was definitely the main one. So
yeah, I will say I do go to Umami and try the Samberger. I went there and it was amazing.
Was it?
It was so good.
Wait, describe it again. What was it?
I put they called it sport peppers, which I don't know. They're just like some chili peppers on top, roasted tomatoes and pickles and a relish. It was really, really good. I posted it on Instagram when it had a little card that has the ingredients on there. So it was delicious. delicious. I gotta say, it was
Field
so
trip.
good. Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanna try this.
Bring them in next
That
time. We'll
sounds
have
fun.
them. So, all right. Where can they find you guys at?
Oh, you can find me Twitter at Kanika Lal, Instagram Kanika Lal1.
I'm on Twitter at 123Jackie_B. I'm on Instagram at 123JackieB. You can also find me on the Strain after show. We're doing tonight. We're doing our finale for season 1, and then I'm on Sleepy Hollow as well.
Yeah, nice. And then we have our fabulous engineer, Steven. Thank you so much.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
That's it.
And you can find me at JJ Jurgens on Twitter, JurgensJJ on Instagram. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Buzz you later.